Hi guys, these are our notes on stoichiometry. Fun times. So basically, when we start Stoic, you're going to want to start with your equation. And so, as always, we're going to start with our good old friend, the water equation. So, we have H2 plus O2 yields H2O. The first thing that we do is that we're going to balance our equation. So in order to do that, I'm going to need 2 waters and 2 hydrogens. The importance with doing that is that those are our moles. Excuse me. That's how many moles of each one we have. So the way that this would read is 2 moles of hydrogen react with 1 mole of oxygen to produce 2 moles of water. And that's very important because that's going to help us with our Stoic later. Then what you need to do is you need to start with moles. And I have been saying this and putting stars by this, but start with moles. If given anything other than moles, you must convert to moles first. Okay? So if given anything other than moles, you must convert to moles first. And then after that, you're really just doing conversions to what we need to get to. So with that, remember, let's remind ourselves of our conversions real quick. The mole is the most versatile, and this is why we're going to convert to moles first, because moles can be converted to grams, and this is by using molar mass. Moles can be converted to particles or atoms. And this is by Avogadro's number. Or moles can be converted from moles of one substance to mole of another substance using mole ratio. Okay, so mole is definitely the most versatile. Other things that you can do is that grams can be converted to moles using, again, our molar mass. And particles can be converted to moles using Avogadro's number. So basically the exact reverse of what we just did. So basically the reverse of what we had in that first one where we're converting moles. You can convert from moles to grams and then back from grams to moles. You can convert from moles to particles, back from particles to moles, and from moles of A, substance A, to moles of substance B, or in reverse. And it's all using the same stuff along that line. Okay? So essentially, you can do this, and you can do this. You can also do the moles of B to moles of A. So when you're balancing, or when you're trying to do a stoichiometry equation, I'm going to rewrite my formula down here just so that way we can see it a little bit better. So I had 2 hydrogen. Oops, not 2 oxygen, just 1 oxygen. And that goes to liquid water. And so when we have this, let's say that I'm given grams of water, and I want to know how many moles of hydrogen is that. The easiest thing to do is to first plot out your direction. So first we're going to balance the equation, which we already did. Second, we're going to plot our order using what we had up here, using our mole part up here. So what we're going to do is, I see that I have grams. So I have grams of water. Then I want to go to, I'm going to write this down here. So I have grams of water, and I want to ultimately get it to moles of hydrogen. But there's some steps in between there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my grams of water, and then I need to look. I said anytime you start with anything other than moles, you must convert to moles first. So that lets me know that this is going to go to moles of water. It's what I have to do. I have to do that first. You have to start with moles of whatever you're working with. If it's not moles, you must convert. And so now that I have moles of H2O, well, I see that I can compare moles of substance A, in this case my H2O, to moles of substance B, in this case my hydrogen. And so that's going to be moles of hydrogen. You know what, let me go ahead and clarify that up here a little bit. So this is going to be moles of A, and this will be grams of A, particles of A. So the only way to get to B, the only way to have from A to B is moles to moles. So moles of hydrogen. And that's what I'm going to do. And so now I'm going to take my grams. Let's say that I had 43 grams of water. And so I'm going to have 43 grams of water. And that's my given, so it goes over 1. Now, what was on top goes on bottom. So my grams of water will go on bottom, because I want it to cross out. And then what I'm converting it to, I'm going from grams to moles of water. So that means moles will go on top, because what I want goes on top. We're going to worry about numbers in a little bit. Let's lay out our problem first. And so that's going to allow me to cross that out and cross that out. And so now what I had on top now goes on bottom. And what I want to go to goes on top. So moles of hydrogen, or moles of water to moles of hydrogen. Once again, I'm going to cross out my stuff to make sure that I did it correctly. And sure enough, and I have my desired ending units. So now I'm going to go back and add the numbers. I'm going to do it in a different color just to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. And so in order to convert to moles, I need to use the molar mass. And so remember, that's the molecular weight, but in grams. So since hydrogen is 1 on the periodic table, that means it's going to be 1 gram, but I have 2 of them. So that's going to give me 2 grams. So my hydrogen is normally 1 gram, but since I have 2, that's going to be 2 grams. And then oxygen is 16 grams, and I only have 1, so that's going to give me 16 grams. And so water has a molar mass of 18 grams per mole. And so that's my conversion factor. So grams, I'm going to have 18 grams of water in 1 mole of water. The next step, and this is where we were starting to struggle last week, is the mole ratio. When we're comparing mole ratios, what we're going to look at is, remember in my sentence where I said 2 moles of hydrogen react with 1 mole of oxygen to produce 2 moles of water? That's what goes in this mole ratio. So I had said 2 moles of hydrogen and produces 2 moles of water. And so now all we have to do is calculate. So we're going to take 43 divided by 18, and I get 2.39. I'm going to say this was 43.0, so that way we can go one more. Moles of hydrogen. So there you go. I'm going to make a separate video that has me going over a couple of these problems, but for now, those are your notes. So go ahead and attempt the worksheet. If you have questions, send me a message. Otherwise, have an excellent day.